Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I was hoping she wouldn't read all of that stuff. You know, you get nervous when you get to stand up in front of a group of people. Anybody get nervous? Oh, only a few? Yeah, put you on the spot, you know. Put all your business out there, and then people are like, oh, he do this? Let me see. And so you pull out your red pen and you start to grade. But how many know that's how life happens, right? No matter where you are, when you show up, you have one responsibility, and that is to be authentically who? Yourself. And so I'm happy to be here, certainly to Dr. Gaines. I appreciate the invitation and the opportunity. To Adam, I appreciate the opportunity. Do I need to get the mic, or are we good? Okay. So I'm a preacher, and they're giving me a microphone, so y'all gonna have to deal with a little bit of preaching, right? That's my bad dad joke. My daughter would say, don't say that, right? But no, it's a privilege to be here with you all. It's an honor to share with you all. This year marks 20 years that I've been out of high school. And 20 years ago, I sat where many of you are right now, contemplating, hearing people talk about what I could do, what I could be. And truthfully, I didn't believe it. I really did not believe it. I thought for sure that my time and my life and how I was brought up and the challenges that I was dealing with as a 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old just certainly were not the right mix of things for me to become successful. But I'm happy to say that I was in a similar program as you all are today. I was in a program called KCP. It was the King Chavez Parks program that took us on college visits, that had overnight visits for us to schools and universities, that showed me that what I could be, yes, it was in contradiction to who I was at the moment, but I could actually be something better and greater. Let me just establish, you're looking at a college dropout. You're looking at a college student who flunked. I want to see your faces. Huh? Why am I still successful, though? Because I kept moving. Because, yes, when I started school at the University of Detroit Mercy on a full ride scholarship, I did, in fact, flunk out. Yeah, I remember Mr. Michael called me in the office and was like, Antoine, we're sorry, but we're going to have to let you go. We're going to put you on. I was already on academic probation when I started school. And they let me go. But I didn't stop. I went and began taking classes at what is no longer but Lewis College of Business, accomplished an associate's degree, went on to take classes at WC3, Wayne County Community College District, got another associate's degree, and kept going to school until I've been able to ascertain all the way to an MBA, because I wouldn't quit, because I wouldn't give up. Why am I starting with the failures? Because sometimes when we come and we speak to you all see us in our finished product. You see us with the suit on, and my daughter told me to dress like my book. How did I do? Did I do okay? All my dad jokes are just falling flat. Okay, we're gonna try it again. But when you all see us, you see us in our finished products. You see us at a place where we really haven't shown you the obstacles that we've had to come through or across to get where we are. And sometimes it may even paint the picture of, I'll never get there. But I want you to do me a favor and appreciate Mr. Adam Harris, Dr. Nakia Gaines, and this wonderful team who has put together a day to show you that you are possible. Can you just clap your hands for them, please? So what am I here to talk about? I don't have a lot of time because I really want you all to ask me some questions because I want to give you some real answers. I'm Antoine Jackson, born and raised right here in Detroit, born in Southwest Detroit. I heard Dr. Nakia say Southwest Detroit. Let's go. What streets? Greenfield and Finkel? Yeah. Okay. Number Street, 33rd Michigan Avenue is where I'm from. Graduated from Western International High School. class of 2003. Yeah, it's been 20 years. Pray for me. I'm getting old. I have a 13-year-old. She'll be starting high school in the fall. I heard Detroit Prep is in the house. Yeah, yeah. No? University, I'm sorry, University Prep, forgive me. I'm thinking about Detroit Prep, a school in the neighborhood where I'm at. University Prep. Madison used to attend that school for a year. But I have learned a couple lessons that I just want to share with you, and then I want to answer some questions for you. Your theme today is finding your way. Finding your way. Are you able to see beyond where you are to where you're trying to get to? How many of you have a plan for the next 5 years? Mind sharing it?
My plan is to, obviously graduate high school, and then I plan to go to either Wayne State or Detroit Mercy for English education, and then after that, I would be an English teacher.
Beautiful. Let's give it up. Yes.
What was the question again? I'm sorry.
Do you have a plan for the next 5 years?
Yeah.
If so, what is it? Would you share it?
Can I use the microphone?
Sure.
My plan is to be a teacher overseas and teach English as a foreign language. In South Korea, I'm going to go to Wayne State so I can prepare myself over the years to be a teacher.
I heard that too. She said, I'm going. I'm going to do this. Thank you both for sharing. Thank you for your willingness. Here's a book for you, and then I'll make sure you get a book also, okay? So I like people who participate, y'all. So it's so important that you be able to see where you want to be in the next 5 years. Myself, Adam, anyone else, we can chart a course for you, but if you're not bought into it, if you're not connected to it, if you're not willing to put the work in, it won't accomplish anything. It'll just be a set of goals and visions that we have for you, but that you don't have for yourself. And so for me, I had to learn that very early on. You're looking at a kid who has never met his dad. If you know him, tell him I just want to say hi. He doesn't owe me any money. You're looking at a kid who's had to take care of both his mom and brother since I was 11, being my mom's legal guardian and my brother's legal guardian at the early age of 18, meaning paying bills, buying groceries, being responsible. So I came from a life that was set up for me not to be successful. Every obstacle, every issue that you can think of was set up in a line for me not to be standing here today. But I kept having this vision in my head. And the vision initially was that I was going to be a bank president. I was going to go to college, get a degree in finance, and go become a bank president. But then I learned that really my heart posture was one that I wanted to help people. I didn't want to take from people because, quite frankly, that's all I had seen done to my family. And I knew that we needed real assistance, real help. And so I said, I need to get into a space that would allow me to help people. But how many know you need some bread to do something, right? How many know bread, cash, money, the bag, right? And so in high school, my teachers knew the situation in my home. They knew that I was a welfare baby. I saw the transition between paper food stamps and the bridge card, right? And so growing up, my teachers knew that challenge. And so in 10th grade, one of my teachers, Miss Turner, and I'm wrapping up, I promise I can get questions. She said to me, I want you to do a classroom project where you have to design and create a business. And so I said, I'm going to design and create a desktop publishing business. And so for this project, I needed to design some birthday invitations, baby shower invitations, and a flyer. And so I did these designs, couldn't charge anybody because it was a classroom project, but lo and behold, what happened was this classroom project took off. And Ms. Turner decided to call the school district and say, I have a kid who has some promise and I think he'll do well. Let's send him to a competition in Milwaukee to compete for some grant money to get his business going. And at 15 years old, I became an entrepreneur, a legal entrepreneur, designing everybody's birthday flyers and graduation flyers and open house flyers. That by the time I turned 18, I was buying my first house with cash. Remember how I grew up. Remember my life, right? But I kept this vision in my head that there was something better and something more. So I told you I flunked out of college, right? And I had a scholarship that would pay for my whole degree. But I flunked out, so I lost the scholarship. So now I got to get some student loans. And I remember talking to my grandmother. I was like, I think I'm just quit school altogether because I don't want to do student loans. And she had to educate me on something. And I'm not saying for you to take this, but I'm just telling you that it worked for me. She said, if you wanted to go buy a car, would you get a loan? I said, if it's not used, probably so. She said, you bought that house. Did you get a loan? I said, yeah. She said, how much was the loan for? I told her it was like $4,500 that I needed to make up the rest because I worked at a credit union. She said, well, if you don't pay that note, they're going to come take that house. You don't pay the note on the car, they're going to come take that car. If you don't pay the note on them student loans, they cannot take that education out of your head. It's always going to be in there. And so what she was doing was she was taking away the fear of this obstacle. And so I got a couple student loans and I started going to school, got my Pell Grant, I was doing my thing. So one day I went into work and I learned that the University of Phoenix had come and they said that they wanted to support our organization and young black leaders who were in the space. And so they gave me a full ride scholarship. I had enough money to go pay off all them student loans I got and get the rest of my degrees paid for. So I did go to school free. Why? Because I had a vision in my head, and no matter what I faced, I wasn't going to stop. The question is finding your way. Where are you? Where are you right now? Where are you headed? And I'll tweak it a little bit. What are you willing to do to make the vision in your head come to fruition? Are you going to wait until somebody gives you a handout? Or are you going to put in the elbow grease, the work? I think the statement or the term now is grind. Are you going to grind to make it happen? Or will you just see every obstacle as an opportunity to say, I can't do this, I quit, I give up, and I'm turning around and I'm giving up? I'll share one more quick story and I'm done, and I want to hear questions. One of the easiest things for me to do growing up was to feel sorry for myself because of what I didn't have, who I didn't know, where I was, etc. My daughter, she's 13, and she probably owns about 22 pairs of Jordans. My first pair of Jordans was when I was 21 years old. All the rest of the time, I was wearing Batman shoes and Payless shoes. Everybody remember the song, Payless shoes ain't got no grip? I'm the only old one in the room? Okay, I got it. Yeah. I was wearing Payless shoes and secondhand shoes and everything else, but I never wore name brand because we couldn't afford it. And so it was easy for me to feel bad for myself, especially when I compared everybody around me. And so what I started doing was I started being fake. I was finessing. Did you say no cap? Is that what it is? Yeah. No cap. My daughter taught me that when I tell her it worked. I was out here just lying to try to fit in with everybody. And you know what I learned in that process? It was because I did not value Antoine. I didn't think Antoine was good enough. I didn't think Antoine was great enough. And quite frankly, I didn't think I could ever be. And so it became very easy to be self-loathing and depressed and complaining about what I didn't have and all that type of stuff until I met my first mentor. And my first mentor told me something that I'll never forget. He said, how you think about you is how the rest of the world will think about you. How you don't think about you is how the rest of the world won't think about you. How you think about yourself, what you invest in yourself, is going to determine how far or not that you get. I want to pause. Yeah. This is my sister from the church, Sister Keena Williams. She happened to find, we learned that we were on this same ticket here, but this is a funny story. I'm going to pick on you for a minute. I told Sister Keena that same thing about 5 years ago regarding her photography services. Because she was saying like, I'm not good. It's not going to be working. But look what happens, right? Questions. Comments. Right here. You good? Okay.
Was there ever a time where like you felt like you just want to give up and like go on a different path?
There was. More than once. Certainly the day when they told me that, I was kicked out of school, I had flunked out. There were other incidences in my life that happened that made me feel like, what's the use of trying? But I had to keep remembering that vision. I had to change some of the people I was around because they were allowing me to stay in that place. Yes, sir.
I got a question. Because I've been thinking about it. Like, I had two options. I either do architecture or barber school. So I've been asking around, like, should I go to barber school or go to college for architecture? They're like, why you won't do barber school for this summer or your senior year? I was like, because I'm going to have multiple things to do. Then I'm like, that also to help you start a business while going into your senior year. I'm like, that's a hard choice because I'm doing multiple sports at the same time. So I was just stuck.
Okay. First of all, let me say thank you for believing in yourself that you can do more than one thing. Because you are you and you're talented and you're gifted. And so you can certainly do more than one thing. What you're going to have to sit down and think about is timing. Do I need to hold off on doing, say, and I'm not picking one over the other, please hear me, barber school, okay? Maybe once I get into my sophomore year of college, after I've started my architectural degree, I can look at my schedule and say, okay, in the evenings or weekends or summer, I can do my barber school. Because you're absolutely right. That skills trade will be something that can start producing revenue and money for you at an early age. And it's money that you can utilize to continue to build for where you're trying to go. It sounds like you're saying your senior year of high school though, right? Yeah. Again, you got to think about timing and your schedule. How much time do you spend a day in school? 12 hours. And that's including practices? So 12 hours in practice, Monday through Friday? And then what's happening during the summer? Football. And how many hours are you spending doing football? 3 hours a day, Monday through Friday? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. You may have some time to do it, depending upon how many hours are required for barber school. I can't remember off the top of my head. But think about the timing, because you can't do, one of the quotes in that book says, you cannot do everything at the same time, but you can do all things. Okay? You just have to determine the timetable of it. Who's a trusted advisor or mentor that you have? Okay. I'm sure they're gonna give you some good input on timing. Okay? It's a matter of time, and I'm happy that you recognize that you can do more than one thing. I saw a couple other hands. Yes.
How do you handle stress of making a decision that 95% of people want you to do, but you think it's a good idea, and making another decision that not too many people encourage you to do, but you think is best for you?
They invited me, so it's their fault what I say. Oh, I'm teasing. So let me say this. As a young person, one of your greatest assets is having people around you who care about you and who want to see you successful and who want to see you succeed. That's your greatest asset, okay? What becomes challenging and, will I say, stressful is sometimes our voices, because we care so much for you, sometimes will silence your thoughts and your feelings about a certain thing. And so you feel this pressure, if I'm hearing you correctly, of do I make the decision that they want me to make or the decision that I want to make? And so what you have to remember is, no offense to anybody in here, I share this with my daughter all the time. When you get ready to make a decision, consider the unintended consequences. Because sometimes the people around you who are pushing you to make a certain decision, they've thought about those unintended consequences. For example, I thought for sure, after getting a letter at the age of 17 from Morehouse that invited me to attend on a 4-year scholarship, that it would be cool for me to go. And I was going. I had my airline ticket ready. I ain't had nothing to move. I'm going to Atlanta. The unintended consequence that I did not consider is that I had both my mom and brother who dealt with developmental disabilities and mental illness that wouldn't have made it without me. And the people around me who were saying, go to Atlanta, go to Atlanta, go to Atlanta, because it was probably 98% of the people saying, go to Atlanta. But I had to consider the unintended consequence, because would I want to go to Atlanta and get down there and get a call that something happened to mom and bro? Probably not. What am I saying to you? Think about the unintended consequences of the decision you want to make and ask yourself, what could I gain? What could I lose in making this decision? Pros and cons. And then trust the people around you, not all of them, but at least a few of them, that what they're seeing for you could actually work out. Okay? Right here.
Last one.
I'm sorry.
Last one.
I was about to ask, what was your favorite job or jobs you had?
Yeah. My favorite job probably is every last one I've had. Because I'm allowed to do what I love to do. Adam said it best. It's not work for me because I do it for free. Right now, I get to serve as the executive director or leader of an organization right here on the east side at Mack and Van Dyke that is set up to support and rebuild and revitalize the community. When I worked at the Community Foundation, I got a chance to lead the investment of over $6 million that revitalized and built up the community. Special Olympics Michigan, the same. Big Brothers Big Sisters, the same. And even though I didn't stay to finish it out, my career time at the credit union allowed me to build up the community. So I believe in this. Find something that you can do for free, or you would do for free, because it really fulfills your passion. Being able to come and speak to you all, that fills my tank, that encourages me. Being able to do the work I do every single day, that encourages me. I appreciate you all for your questions. Was your hand up?
I do have a question.
I know he said it was the last one. I'm a preacher.
Real quick.
Real quick.
How do you handle procrastination?
No, I can't let you answer.
There's a book I wrote called No More Later, because by the time I graduated high school, I had put the pro in procrastination. I was the pro at procrastinating. I could write a 22-page paper in 3 hours. Ask her, she'll tell you. I could still do it. I was a procrastinator and would get away with the papers with a B or an A on it. But it caused stress, it caused mental anguish, and when I needed to focus, I couldn't, because the only time I really focused was when I was under the pressure of a deadline. You don't want to live life like that. Kill procrastination now so that later on in life, you can do what you want to do and not have to do it under the pressure of a deadline.
Let's give Mr. Antoine Jackson a round of applause.